But what are some of the key good practices that you think you've created that make your process at Flyer 10x better than what you'd seen before?
All my stakeholders were part of the creation process. That's one. I didn't build it based on what I think is right and then just deal with it. They were all part of it. Not everything that everyone wanted was implemented, but the fact that you give people a place to speak and give their mind and advise and just to talk about something already engages them in the process. So that's one thing. And then every time we had an action, a process, or something to put in place, I would ask, why do we need it? Is it because we did it before and that's how it was always done? And maybe yes. And even if so, maybe it was right for when it was defined
Back then?
here back then, yeah, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. When environment and reality changes, we need to change how we operate and how we work. So what we need to think about is how do we see the business a year to 5 years from now?
From now.
And that's what we need to aim. And this is how we created the processes. What is the right thing to do, not how we did it before.
Do
And
you
then
have examples of where, you challenged someone, a stakeholder to think, do you need this or are you just used to this?
a very simple example is about people that we had in the approval flow before. So before we didn't have a procurement system. Before I joined, people just opened a task in Asana, which is task management tool.
Ticketing, yeah.
Yeah, just like a ticket. I need this, and then I would like tag lots of people who are, just because they're used to just tag everyone like at all. And then it would like take weeks, I'm not joking, weeks and weeks and weeks on something. And when I was creating the processes to put in place in the procurement tool, I was challenging this. Why do we need you in the process? What's your role in it? When it gets to you, what do you do with it? Do you just
Yeah.
look at it? Are you like a rubber stamp? Or do you actually have an action item? No, because
No,
people
I agree.
feel sometimes that if they're not in the approval flow, they're not important. And that's not the case. Or another example, we only had one signer, which was the CEO, and he was the only authorized signer for every document, which is, as you can imagine, we sign over 800 contracts a year. So you can imagine the bottleneck there. So what I suggest is that why do we do it like this? So we created like steps up to like $50,000. I will sign the contracts up to, I don't know, 500,000. We will have this and that. And then we approved it in the board meeting and then we created that. So challenging everything is not about just being annoying. It's just about truly understanding why we need it. And maybe we still need it, but maybe not.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But it's interesting because it gets very political in people's
Very
mind.
political.
And it's like, oh, if you remove me, then what does it mean? Have I been demoted? And it's a bit absurd because it should be that people should be thankful for being removed from the process most of the time
And
if they're
even
not
that,
needed.
it's about how you communicate that. Because it's not about I'm removing you, period, but it's about we are optimizing the process. You will
I'm
still
focusing you. Yeah.
we're still going to have visibility. It's just going to be in a different way. I'm going to create a dashboard for you. You're going to get an automated report or email sent every week, month, whatever you decide. So you're still going to have visibility, just in a different way.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. I think it's about making sure that people understand that a big part of it was a waste of their time. And
Exactly.
really, the ones they wanted to look at are a very limited set that we're now able to filter so that
Definitely.
they can pay more attention to it. But it's a funny, I find it's always a funny transition because it makes a lot of people very insecure.